What's up, everyone? Happy Football Friday. It's a gorgeous 70 degrees here in Milwaukee. Spring, I guess, might finally be here after a whole couple weeks of just crappy weather, cold and whatnot in early May. But got a good show on tap today, just me, so it should go relatively quickly. We got XFL awards to announce, not all of them, but most of the major awards there. We have transfer portal news, and then we'll get into NFL news and some contracts getting signed. And then we'll talk about the upcoming USFL Week 4 and round out the show with our AFC West draft recap. So let's get it started here with the XFL news, XFL awards. So we have four of them really announced. I mentioned last week or on Tuesday there that the Defenders head coach Reggie Barlow, my Defenders there, has won the XFL Coach of the Year, leading the Defenders to a 9-1 regular season and playoff win in the North Division Championship game, and headed to the XFL Championship next weekend. We have three other awards announced this week. The Special Teams Player of the Year, that went to Battlehawks wide receiver Darius Shepard. 907 kick return yards. He had 3 games with at least 132 kick return yards, averaged 24.8 yards per return, and then he had an 80-yard return versus the Defenders, which was the second longest in the XFL this year. So congrats to Darius Shepard. I know Logan loves him as a former Packer. And then we had the Defensive Player of the Year announced. That was Vipers linebacker Pita Tamapenu. 7.5 sacks, 4 forced fumble, 26 tackles on the season. And he had a great season, no doubt, but I thought it should have been one of the other couple guys that I think thought outperformed PETA there. Roughnecks linebacker Trent Harris, 9.5 sacks. He led the XFL in sacks, 12 tackles for loss as well. Massive number there. So I think he was one of the candidates. Also, Delonte Scott for the Brahmas, 7.5 sacks as well, 11 tackles for loss there. And then, of course, the leading tackler in the XFL, linebacker Jordan Williams for the Brahmas, 89 tackles on the season, 12 tackles for loss, and a fumble return for a touchdown. So I think those three guys probably, well, Delonte Scott is kind of on the same level. Harris and Williams, I thought, definitely were above both Scott and PETA there. So that's just my opinion, though. Congrats to Pita Tamapenu. And then the Offensive Player of the Year announced is Defenders quarterback Jordan Ta'amu. 33 touchdowns, total touchdowns, ranked first in the league. 1,894 passing yards, top 3 in the league. And then 14 passing touchdowns, also top 3 in the league. And 298 yards on the ground with 3 rushing touchdowns. So I think 33 touchdowns was the offense total. Jordan Ta'amu did not have 33 touchdowns himself. But yeah, love Jordan Ta'amu. I don't know if this sets up Abram Smith as being the MVP. I think that's how it might go, but we shall see once we get the XFL MVP announced. All right, college football news, still monitoring the transfer portal news that's coming in. Update on North Texas tight end Varkese Gums. He initially committed to Arkansas, now has decommitted, is back in the portal, so we'll have to monitor where Gums goes there. Versatile tight end. BYU wide receiver Cody Epps has withdrawn from the transfer portal or returned to BYU. Great news for the Cougars. He is their number 1 wide receiver. Gonna start in Provo this fall. Northwestern has a new quarterback. getting a commitment from Cincinnati quarterback Ben Bryant. So that's a big one for the Wildcats there and Coach Fitzgerald. So there we go with that one. Michigan State wide receiver Keon Coleman. He has visited with Florida State. Mike Norvell trying to get a massive commitment from a massive man in Keon Coleman. We'll see if anything transpires from that visit. I think it will. And then a couple of other quarterbacks news here. Nebraska quarterback Casey Thompson. He is visiting with FAU, his former coach at Texas, Tom Herman, now the head coach at FAU. Might be a good landing spot for Casey Thompson. And then Michigan State quarterback Peyton Thorne. He has committed to Auburn. So Hugh Freeze getting a big commitment there in the portal. NFL news, the Patriots announced they will induct former linebacker and current Tennessee Titans head coach Mike Vrabel into their Patriots Hall of Fame. Great honor for Vrabel, one of the best Patriots of the 2000s teams that won 3 Super Bowls. The Eagles defensive tackle Jalen Carter, number 9 overall. He became the first round pick from the 23 class to sign his contract. 4 years, $21.806 million, fully guaranteed. Love to see Jalen Carter there and getting to work at rookie minicamp this weekend. We have some jersey number news. That's one of the biggest things after the draft is the jersey numbers. So the Steelers rookie corner Joey Porter Jr., he will wear 24 to honor Ike Taylor, I believe it is, which his dad is a former teammate of. Panthers quarterback Bryce Young, number 1 overall pick. He will continue to wear his number 9 from college, so I'm excited. I showed him. I have that the NFL shop loaded up. Once I get enough money there, I'm gotta hop on and get his jersey. And then a couple of zeros announced. Eagles running back DeAndre Swift and Ravens linebacker Roquan Smith both announcing they will wear number 0 this upcoming season. So I kind of like it better on Roquan. We'll see how it looks on DeAndre. I don't know, but new place, new start, I guess, new number for DeAndre Swift. The Eagles also announcing other player numbers. Marcus Mariota will continue to wear his number 8 as he has throughout his career. Rashad Penny wearing 23. Greedy Williams, 38. And Olamide Zaccheaus, 13. Draft pick numbers for the Eagles. Jalen Carter going to wear 98. Nolan Smith going to continue to wear his number 3 that he wore at Georgia. Tyler Steen with 56, Sidney Brown with 43, Keely Ringo 37, Tanner McKee 10. I'm not so sure on that because they said up at the top of that article on the Eagles website that Aaron Siposs switched from 8 and now he's going to wear 10. So I'm not sure if 10 is for Siposs or it's for McKee. I hope it's not for Siposs because I hope he's out. We can find a better punter. And then Moro Ojimo is 72. So that is the Eagles rookie numbers there. Minicamp invites. The Bills going to have Battlehawks offensive tackle Eric Magwood. All these are XFL invites here. The Steelers getting Brahma's offensive tackle Chidi Okiki and the guy that I really love, Battlehawks wide receiver Hakeem Butler, massive frame, former 4th-round pick of the Cardinals a couple years ago, getting another shot in the NFL after his XFL, leading the league in touchdowns, I believe. The Falcons getting a couple Battlehawks, defensive tackle Kevin Atkins and safety Lucas Dennis. Browns bringing in Brahma's corner Luke Barku, area of need in Cleveland, the secondary. Broncos hosting Sea Dragons quarterback Ben DiNucci and Roughnecks edge rusher Trent Harris. That would be a really good get for the Broncos, Trent Harris there. Seahawks hosting Sea Dragons defensive tackle Austin Falu and Roughnecks center Alex Millette. So again, theme of the Seahawks, build in the trenches. And the Eagles, they hosted Guardians wide receiver Charleston Rambo. Love that. get some depth at the wide receiver position because we didn't draft one. So love to see that coming in. And then Panthers getting Vipers center Donovan West, help up front for Bryce Young. And then the 49ers, talk about just adding on Rich's Sea Dragons wide receiver Ja'Cour Pearson invited to their mini camp. So we'll see if any of those guys sign with the teams that they are in mini camp with. The one release to announce the Colts, they released quarterback Nick Foles. So going to move forward with Gardner Minshew as the starter this year, and then work Anthony Richardson in the 4th overall pick. And I believe they still have Jacob Eason as well. Re-signings and extensions. How about the Giants getting some deals done, signing defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence to a 4-year, $90 million extension, $60 million guaranteed. He becomes the 3rd highest paid defensive tackle in the league, and really solid deal for him. And the Giants wanted to get that one done, make sure their front line stays stout. And Lawrence definitely one of the best DTs in the NFL. Giants also re-signing edge rusher O'Shane Zimenez to a 1-year deal, former draft pick a couple years ago for New York, back in the fold on another 1-year deal. And the Texans, they re-signed linebacker Neville Hewitt to a 1-year deal, originally released by Houston this offseason, now back in Houston with D'Amico Ryans. Bunch of free agent signings, some big names getting signed currently here. The Chiefs, they signed Buccaneers offensive tackle Donovan Smith to a 1-year, $9 million deal. So I'm interested to see if the Chiefs put Smith at left and they have Jawan Taylor at right, which would make a lot of sense because that's their natural positions and the positions they've played the majority of their NFL careers. The Ravens, they signed Raiders corner Rock Ya-Sin to a 1-year, $6 million deal. Really solid deal for him at this point of the off season, and going to contribute with Baltimore. The Jets, they signed Packers wide receiver Randall Cobb to a 1-year deal. Of course they did. Aaron gets what Aaron wants. So, of course, Randall Cobb is in New York now. The Eagles, they signed Jags tight end Dan Arnold to a 1-year deal. Love that signing. Arnold was a guy that I know Peter Schrager loves, and can be a serviceable tight end too to Dallas Goedert. The Browns, they signed Colts safety Rodney McLeod. Again, Cleveland needing help in the secondary. Not sure how much McLeod has left after his couple seasons in Indy and Philly, but we'll see how he does in Cleveland. And then one waiver claim to note, the Vikings, they claimed defensive back John Reed from the Falcons, getting help, and they are a team that sorely needs help in the secondary at corner and safety. So XFL pick standings, it was a 1-1 division championship weekend for us. We all picked Houston. We all picked DC. So it's going to come down to the championship game. Logan and Mark picking opposite sides. And I'm just here for the ride as I'm 3 games back. So we'll see how Logan and Mark shake out who wins the XFL pick standings next weekend. USFL pick standings, it was terrible for Mark and I. Logan luckily salvaged a 2-2 week. I lone wolfed the Stallions. Logan lone wolfed the Gamblers. And then we all picked the Panthers, and I think I lone wolfed the Maulers, or the Stars. I cannot remember which one. Yeah, so we all picked the Panthers, and then Logan lone wolfed the Maulers, I believe. So yeah, I am now 1 game back, and Logan and Mark tied at the top at 7-5. So this weekend, tomorrow, we have the Gamblers at the Stars. Forgot to get Logan's picks, but we'll get them in here shortly. I think the Gamblers though are going to get this game. I was originally going to pick the Stars, but then I was like, I don't know. Kenji Bahar has played very well the last 2 weeks. Drove down, beat my Memphis Showboats with seconds to go, and I think he's really coming alive in that Gamblers offense. They got Mark Thompson back last week, so I think that's the biggest thing. And as well as Philly played in a close one, intrastate rival there with the Maulers. I don't know. I think the Gamblers can get this one done. Hopefully Mark Thompson runs for a bajillion yards and they win this one outright. Total is 46.5. Again, Houston, I think the over hits. If Case Cook is cooking and Bahar's playing well, I think the over in that one is good. And then 1 p.m. on Fox tomorrow. Next game here, these Showboats at the Panthers. And yeah, I mean, I'm picking the Showboats every week. And, it's tough. Last week, they should have had it. They couldn't get the stop that they needed at the end of the game. Week 1, they had a good opportunity to win against Philly as well. Couldn't do it. And then sandwiched in between that was just obliterated by the Stallions. The Panthers, I do like them. I think we'll see whether I think Cole Kelly did well last week, and I think that's who Coach Haley is going to go with. But they need to run the ball. Alex Collins is out this week, so it's going to be tough. Kareth White and Juwan Washington are going to need a lot of work at the running back positions, and Rashard Davis also out. So we'll see. It's a tough position to be in with all those playmakers not playing, but let's go Showboats. Hopefully we can get the win. The total is 44.5. I'm going with the under. The over. I think the over could hit. Memphis defense is not very good. Michigan's defense is pretty solid, but they let the Generals run all over them last week, which I don't think will be an issue. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with the over. We'll see how that one goes. 7:30 on NBC. The Breakers at the Generals on Sunday, and Mark and I are both on the Breakers. I am going to continue to believe in MBT. McLeod Bethel Thompson is lighting everyone up right now. Did that to the Stallions last week. And the Generals, coming off their second win of the season, have found something with the running game of Darius Victor and DeAndre Johnson. But I think the Breakers are going to be too much, and it's going to be a pretty evenly matched game. I like the Generals probably plus 2.5. And the over 44.5 as well. 3 p.m. on NBC. And to round out the weekend, the Stallions at the Pittsburgh Maulers. Mark and I both on the Stallions here. Alex Magoo banged up a little bit last week. I think he'll be back fine this week. The Maulers probably have the best defense in the league. I mean, they play very well so far, even with only one win showing for it. So with that in mind, I'm going to go with the under 43.5. They only scored 1 touchdown last week, got 5 field goals from new kicker Chris Blewett. So I'm going to go with the under 43.5. I think that's a safe play. Maulers plus 8.5 might be, but I would probably stay away just in case Birmingham's offense runs through that Maulers defense. 6:30 on FS1. And now we are on to the AFC West draft recap, going pretty much in reverse order of the first round. And to start off, we're going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. So round one, edge rusher Felix Anudike-Uzomah out of Kansas State at 31. Second round, wide receiver Rashee Rice out of SMU at 55. Third round, offensive tackle Wanya Morris out of Oklahoma, 92nd. Fourth round, corner Shamari Connor out of Virginia Tech, number 119. Fifth round, edge BJ Thompson out of Stephen F. Austin, number 166. Sixth round, defensive tackle Keandre Coburn of Texas, 194. And then seventh round, corner Nick Jones, Ball State, 250th overall, right around the end of the draft. Yeah, I think it was a pretty solid class. I think the Chiefs did a lot based off what they needed, which was offensive tackle, edge rush, and then playmakers, wide receiver, and not necessarily running back, but I think wide receiver, they needed, I think, a backup tight end, someone who could possibly succeed Kelsey in a couple of years. And, like I said, along the defensive line, they needed mostly edge rush, but also a little bit of defensive tackle to help Chris Jones out. And they got exactly that. They drafted two edge rushers with Felix Anudike-Uzomah and BJ Thompson, who I'm not too familiar with, but the quantity is there. Rashee Rice in the second round, I thought was a great pick. Possession receiver type, a little bit different than what they've had, which is a lot of speed. But Rashee Rice, fast enough, and possession guy over the middle that Mahomes will be able to trust even as a rookie, I think. They did get a tackle, Wanya Morris. Not sure if he's going to kick inside or not. And then Keandre Coburn is the help that Chris Jones possibly could get. And then the two corners, I loved the Nick Jones pick. I thought that was the best value that they got all draft based off round. Nick Jones was pretty solid at the Senior Bowl, and I loved him at Ball State. So I think that was a great fit and value. So he was probably my favorite pick of their draft, really, other than, their first round pick, FAU there. The Chargers, so you can see their first round pick there, Quentin Johnston out of TCU, number 21. Edge rusher Tuli Tuipulotu out of USC, number 54 in the second. Third round, they went linebacker Deion Henley, Washington State, number 85. Fourth round, they went back to TCU, wide receiver Darius Davis, 125. Fifth round, guard Jordan Mason, Clemson, 156. Sixth round, defensive tackle Scott Matlock, Boise State, 200. And then, of course, they went back to TCU for the third time in the seventh round, quarterback Max Duggan, number 239. So I loved Quentin Johnston. Not sure if I liked the fit, but it made a lot of sense to where he went. Keenan Allen getting older in his 30s. They needed a third wide receiver anyways right now. And he fits the mold of what they are looking for. Big, strong, jump ball kind of guys. That's what Mike Williams is, and Keenan Allen can do that if needed. But I think he's going to be the guy that takes the top off the defense while Mike Williams and Keenan Allen work underneath, for now anyways. I didn't like that they waited till the sixth round to get a defensive tackle. That's always what the Chargers need, is D-tackle help and stopping the run. Scott Matlock, a good one out of Boise State, but didn't like how they worked that out, getting him late. Other than that, I think most of the draft was pretty good. It wasn't great. So I think that the Chiefs draft, I would probably have given a B for. The Chargers, I'm on the lower end of that one. So I think theirs was more of like a C plus outside of Quentin Johnston. Yeah, and going back to TCU 3 times was pretty funny. Did they have to do that? Maybe not. Darius Davis is going to give him great return value, though. So I'm going with a C plus, though. Not really sure if I liked a lot of their picks. The Raiders are next, 7th overall. They went with edge rusher Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech. 2nd round, they got tight end Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame, number 35. 3rd round, 2 picks, defensive tackle Byron Young out of Alabama, 70th. And then wide receiver Trey Tucker out of Cincinnati, 100th. 4th round, also 2 selections, corner Jacorian Bennett out of Maryland, 104. And quarterback Aiden O'Connell out of Purdue, number 135. 5th round, safety Christopher Smith II out of Georgia, 170. 6th round, linebacker Amari Burney out of Florida, number 203. And then 7th round, defensive tackle Nesta Jade Silvera out of Arizona State, number 231. I love the Raiders draft, especially at the top. Edge Tyree Wilson at 7 was fantastic pick for them. They needed someone to go opposite of Max Crosby, help out Chandler Jones because he didn't really have a great season last year. It was great value. Was it a good fit? I think so. But there were also corners on the board that I think they could have gotten that would have been more immediate help. And but we'll see. We'll see. Is the number 2 edge rusher based off many people's boards. Michael Mayer in the 2nd round was absolute steal. And they needed a tight end to fill Darren Waller's spot after the trade to New York. They signed some mid-level guys, but Michael Mayer is going to be the dude. And I think that's a great situation, and especially with Jimmy Garoppolo being there. He loved to throw to George Kittle in San Francisco. I think he's going to love throwing to Michael Mayer, who is a sort of George Kittle-like, where he can block in line, is a really solid pass catcher, isn't fast, and doesn't have the maneuverability as some of the other tight ends in the class, but Michael Mayer was a beast at Notre Dame. He's going to be a beast in Vegas. Other picks, the other pick that I really loved, corner Jacorian Bennett out of Maryland in the 4th round. That was great value. I thought he was going to go on day 2. Got him at 104 in the 4th round. I think that was a fantastic pick. He's going to help their secondary, which was a lot. They needed a lot of help in that secondary. Waited till day 3 to get it. But I think it's going to work out. Him and Christopher Smith are going to help that secondary a lot. And then the quarterback Aiden O'Connell pick, I thought was solid. I liked him at Purdue a lot. It makes sense based off what they have in Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, that's what you always look for. What do you have? And what kind of quarterback is going to be able to run your system? I think Aiden O'Connell is what Josh McDaniels is looking for, more of a pocket passer, not really a mover, and is accurate. So I think that's exactly what Josh McDaniels wants. That's exactly what Aiden O'Connell gives you. So that selection worked out there. With the Raiders, I like a lot of their picks, so I think I'm going to give them go above the Chiefs, give them a B+. I think it wasn't a home run throughout the draft, but the top of the draft, days 1 and 2, were really solid, and then the 4th round I really liked for them as well. And then finally, the Denver Broncos, no first-round selection because of the Sean Payton trade. And, well, they didn't have a first-round pick because of the Russell Wilson trade, and then they didn't have a first-round pick because of the Sean Payton trade after they got a first-rounder from the Dolphins for Bradley Chubb, but traded that away for Sean Payton. But in the 2nd round, their first pick, wide receiver Marvin Mims Jr. out of Oklahoma, 63rd. 3rd round, 2 picks, linebacker Drew Sanders out of Arkansas, 67th, and corner Riley Moss out of Iowa, 83rd. No 4th or 5th round picks. 6th round, they went with safety J.L. Skinner out of Boise State, number 183. And then 7th round, they went center Alex Forsyth out of Oregon, number 257. So just 5 picks for the Broncos. The second rounder, I didn't really understand. They already have good wide receivers. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick. Marvin Mims, I like Marvin Mims, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, when you have other needs, it didn't really feel like that was the biggest thing that they needed. They needed offensive line, I thought, and edge rush, as well as linebacker help. So I didn't like the fit there. The third round was fantastic. I loved Drew Sanders, loved Riley Moss. Moss was a beast at Iowa, breaking up passes, can lock down guys in the pass game there and tackle. And then Drew Sanders, I thought possibly could have snuck into the first round, but waited till day 3 or third round there. And I thought that was a great value to get Drew Sanders there, and gonna fill a nice spot next to Josie Jewell there in Denver after the loss of Alex Singleton in free agency. So love those 2 picks. The rest of the draft was so. And again, the top pick there, Marvin Mims. Love the player, not the fit though in Denver with what they needed. So I think the Broncos, I'm going to go on the lower end. I'm going to go with the C minus actually, based off the number of picks and the fact that I liked 2 out of the 5, but just was not great draft overall, fitting needs and to players there. So that's the grades there. I'm going with the Raiders first. I think they got a B+. The Chiefs second with a B. Chargers third with a C+, and the Broncos last with a C-. That is my grades for the AFC West as I wear my Tim Tebow Broncos jersey here. Next week, next Friday, it's XFL Championship week, and USFL Week 5 will have all the XFL and USFL game previews. I'm excited. My DC Defenders will be in the championship game. I will be done with finals next Friday, so next Wednesday actually, but it'll be a celebration next Friday as well. It'll be a good time in the XFL championship game. And of course, we'll have all your college football and NFL, XFL, USFL news as well. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. I know y'all have been blowing that up lately. FAA_bets as well on Twitter. And then FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Appreciate everyone for watching this really short show today. Good luck to everyone on the Kentucky Oaks today, Kentucky Derby day tomorrow, and of course, finals coming up next week as well. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you back on